It's that time again. Yes, Sunday night. Welcome, everybody. Great to see you all. Tonight, we are discussing how to design your life and then monetize it. Because I've seen in the past, and usually looking at a lot of people's lives over the past years, that so many people, we look outside and we think, where's the opportunity right now? What's the newest, hottest thing? How can I make money? And then that's where I'll go. But the most successful and energized people I've ever met in my life do it the opposite way. We think, what is it we want to do in life? What do we want to live? And then we find a way to monetize that life so that we get to live our ideal life every single day. And the second part is vital, because I know a lot of the self-development world can be sometimes a bit wishy-washy, having some fantasy, some dream boards, but then when it comes to doing the work part, don't really like that part as much. And the reason why most people don't like the work part is because I feel whenever we're going against our own energy, our own natural desires, then it always feels like a struggle. Because success monetarily or health or anything is always behind a lot of effort and a lot of energy. We can manifest things and speed up the process, but there's always a lot of energy and output. And that is only a problem if you don't like it. But if you design a life that you absolutely love, and even if it's a ton of work, you don't notice it's work because it's your favorite thing to do. So that's the opening for tonight. I like to set that so we have the recording, and so people who just start watching know what it's about. I'd like to welcome all of you now before we get into it. So it's been quite an interesting week. A lot of you here, you've just joined our Business Mastermind program. It's funny that was just like a little whim I had because I was talking with Cosmine about him buying the business, which has been very interesting to hear his updates. We just mentioned it about the mastermind, and then we've got 4 full groups right now, which is pretty amazing. I'm delighted with that. So that's going to be a lot of my energy for the next while. But the good thing about that is some of you might have noticed that in the Telegram chat and the Discord in the Daily Shorts section, I put a new thing called the perfect employee. And this came from someone in the mastermind group. We were talking about they don't know how to employ someone or get the right person. So a process that I used to build all of my companies was called the perfect employee. And I harmonize energetically with the right person first before I take the steps to bring them into the company. And then when you do get them to the right people and they stay long term, because a lot of employees they've been in my companies from the beginning for like almost 15 years, because I think I did a certain process that let me harmonize with the right people. So if you haven't seen that yet, check out The Perfect Employee. It's in Telegram and it's in the Daily Shorts. And this is what, every time somebody comes up with something, a stuck point, if I have a way of fixing that for them or helping them solve a problem, over the next weeks and months now, I'm going to create the content. It's for them, but I'm going to post it in the main group so everyone will get the benefit of it. Because I always say I'm not someone to hide information. If I can get information out there, I'll put it out, and then it'll be like lots of little mini courses dropping out everywhere over the next couple of weeks and months. So look out for those things. And the perfect employee process, that's a big core of how to monetize everything. We'll get to that later as well. Because again, it works in small companies and it works in huge companies. I have a lot of stories of people I've done it with, and the transformation in their companies has been incredible. How people just find the right person and within their budget, which is the main thing. So you'll find that a lot of things that I do are internal first and then external, but both are essential, but just doing them in the right order is important. And we can easily get swayed by the outside. I'm aware of this. Somebody's asking, did I start recording? Yes, I recorded. I remember this time. Now I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Daniel. I'm joking. Great to see you, Daniel. Good to have you as always. Razvan, great to see you. Ciprian, Gabe, Victor, Jay, back in the house. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Dory, awesome. Andre, maybe you're here last time. Sometimes I don't get time to look at the chat properly. I was keeping my train of thought. But yeah, you'll notice that I'm very much inside and then outside. And I think if you get them in the proper order, life flows very nicely. And like, again, now Peaceful Riches for me, it's a lot of work. Like it started off as a little side project, a little fun thing that we just do. Like I just thought kind of keep me entertained one night a week. Now it becomes like, it's almost like a full-time energy for it, but I can see long-term how I can craft my whole life around it. And then I'll add lots of companies onto this over time, but I love every single step of it. So it never feels like, I'm like dancing every time I get to do something in this group. So it's like, again, you might not think it's a huge group or whatever. That doesn't matter, because that's another thing about what you're doing as well, is like, we want to love stage 1 as much as we want to love stage 50 or stage 1,000. Can we love talking to, like, I remember the first call, probably some of you here, I think were on the call, that first one, 6 of us on the Discord call. I love that first call as much as I love this one, as much as I love any of the future ones. I don't care how many people. It's just like, I want to really love and enjoy it. So that's what I really want to talk about tonight, is how we go about designing the life. How do we know what it is we actually like? And then how do we go about monetizing it in a fun way that might be a lot of energy, but it's really enjoyable, because that's the main thing. As long as you're enjoying your life, that's it. So yeah, so it's great to see you all. I'm curious still if anyone had a chance to do the thinking in ideals, because the mastermind groups, they did get off with a bang. They really got going very well. But I feel like if everyone in there had done the thinking in ideals course, like with good energy, I feel like we would already be like 2 weeks ahead in the journey. I'm not complaining about that. Everyone starts where they are. It's perfect. But I feel like that course should help us decide what we actually want to do. So I think that was the reason of the Thinking in Ideals course. And if anyone doesn't know where to find that, it's free, as with courses, like all the courses we do in here. That does not mean they're not awesome. I always design them as if you should be paying €500 or €1,000 for a course. That's what my mind is, and then I want to put them out for free, because again, I don't like hiding information. I want people to get it. So it's in the Peaceful Riches courses on the side of Discord. Tech support just dropped it in the link if you're just listening to recordings. It's also in our Telegram channel. We post all the videos there. It's quite easy to listen to, and I made it like 10, 11 really short, nice videos, like 10, 11 videos, well edited. I feel some interstellar music, which may or may not be copyright, but Discord and Telegram doesn't care, so whoop-de-doo, we get some nice music in behind it. So that's why I like these platforms too. We can just create very nice quality things. And again, if anyone sued me for it, they can have 100% of the free course revenue. That's fine too. I don't care. So Hans Zimmer, you're welcome. But I just think it's very nice. I think it helps the learning. So yeah, Livy says he did it, and I think thinking ideals is a constant exercise to do on multiple areas of life. Yeah. I'll tell you, most of my work is thinking in ideals. Today, half of my day, maybe more than half of my day, I'm just sitting around thinking about what I want to build next, what I want to bring next, who I need. I was doing the perfect employee myself, because there's like 3 main roles that I need right now, and I go through the perfect employee. And already I feel myself getting closer to finding the people we need. Whereas before, I hadn't done that process in a while. And I was just like, I don't realize why I haven't done it. It's crazy not to do it, because already I see where I can get those people from and how they can pay for themselves. So yeah, so it's very important. Unut Victor says, haven't done it yet, but Interstellar is my favorite movie. Yeah. Weird thing about Interstellar, we've kind of banned it. Well, we don't really watch, well, I don't watch movies in our house, but I kind of banned Interstellar in our house because it was one of my favorite movies. Because I love the soundtrack, and it's more not because of the movie, because I'm not a big space fan, as you know, but the soundtrack is spectacular, absolutely incredible. And I was just blasting it for like 3 days straight, Interstellar. And there's the scene, if anyone remembers that, whenever Matt Damon, he blows up the ship and it spins like crazy, and they have to reconnect. There's a song that's in that, it's super epic. Some crazy person here probably know the name of that song, but I just couldn't get enough of it. I was just blasting it on repeat over and over and over again. And then the sky outside our house turned red. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute, this is weird. And then it started turning red, and I was like, this is kind of cool. And the Interstellar music kind of matched the scene a little bit. And then it just get redder and redder until the point we barely could see like a couple of feet outside the door. And it was just like, what the frick is this shit? And then it started like raining mud, and everywhere was like inches thick in mud. And this is crazy. And I was still blasting the song, and Brigitte was like, turn that shit off right now. And I was just like, our swimming pool was like, it's probably like this thick in mud. It's probably like at least a foot deep in mud at the bottom. We had to empty the pool. We had to finish it all. We had to like hose down every part of the house. Every single house in the place was covered in mud. And it was just like, I'm not blaming the Interstellar song, but I'm also not blaming the Interstellar song, because it put me in that mood where they had those crazy storms, and it's just like, and I feel weird stuff like this happens, and I'd be curious if any of you have any of these type of things. I've had this so many times, like you get into a flow or into connection with something, and then the outside world just matches it almost instantly. And one of the craziest things was I used to love listening to the world's greatest speeches. So I was listening to all the like most famous ones that people are. I'm trying to think now, or probably Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King and all these ones, and Winston Churchill. And I was listening to the Winston Churchill audio, and I was sitting out in these rocks. It was in Ireland, and I was just sitting on like sort of the edge of the cliff, just like blasting up full power. And he's talking about World War II, obviously, and how it's like, we need more guns, we need more shells, and rallying Britain to prepare for the war and to fight for the war and get all everything they need for it. And I was like, I was so into it. Like at that time, it was just like no way, just like you lose where you are and you're visualizing it, and you're just in this like war scene and the intensity of what it would be like and how they're getting this and what the airplanes and all the other things are. And like just by almost the end of his speech, I was so into it, like right over my head, where I feel like I could have hit it with a rock. I probably couldn't have hit a rock, but it didn't feel like it was that further away. This old military aircraft in my mind looked like one of those, like, it's a small fighter plane from like the 1940s. And there's no planes ever flying near there. I've never seen a plane in my whole life. I grew up there, and it flew right over my head where it like shook me. And I was just like, holy shit. And I remember I got so scared, I just ran home. I was just like, I'm out of here. No more of this stuff. And it's just like, and it's amazing how many times that we just get into resonance. And this happens over and over. I got hundreds of these stories of just like, you really just tap into something, and almost instantly in life, it starts to manifest in a strange way. And I really believe there is something with this resonance, that some of you may have seen the experiment. And if you haven't seen this, it's a good one to do. I actually bought 2 tuning forks to do this experiment live on camera. Turns out you bought the wrong tuning forks. You have to have like demonstration ones. But what I saw what they did is they put a tuning fork, and then on the other side of the room, they put another tuning fork, and then they put a ping pong ball on, say, tuning fork number or letter B, and it's leaning against the tuning fork on the other side. And he hits the first tuning fork with the hammer. And then the other tuning fork is at the same frequency. It starts vibrating, even though nothing touched it. So you can see this, like you hit one tuning fork on one side of the room, it starts vibrating. And then the one that's tuned to the same thing on the other side of the room also starts vibrating at the same speed. And whenever you put a ping pong ball, the ping pong ball starts bouncing hard, like boom, boom, boom. So you can see that it works. And I will do this on stream at some point. I forgot about that experiment. David reminded me to buy some of those on Amazon whenever we get around to it. So, and it's such an incredible thing that's evidence that once you're in the certain frequencies, so say you tune it at 432 or whatever, the other one 432, they resonate and they connect with each other. And like my friend Alex and I, we always talked about this, is like the amount of events we've been at, and you see like, say you're an event with some billionaires, there could be like 500 people in an event, and there's 2 billionaires in the room, and within about a few hours, the billionaires are sitting next to each other chatting when they didn't even know each other. The same as it could be millionaires in a different type of event, because the resonance is so close that you just end up like, people feel the person they're supposed to be around. You feel the business you're supposed to be around, and all of the things in our life match the current frequency we're in right now. So hopefully you're still in with me when I talk about frequency, because a lot of times these things can sound a little hokey. A lot of people in self-development like a little bit hokey, a little bit woo-woo and other stuff. And I kind of like it, but I also like to tie it to the hyper-practical. And I think it's so important to realize the power of resonance. And that's why I always do the inner work first before working on the outside. Because if you feel like you're just like, I don't really know what I need to do, but let's just get out there and start doing shit, that's kind of good in a way. It's better than just like battling all the time. But whenever you take time to really just craft, like, what am I about? What is it I actually like? What do I enjoy doing? And it's worth thinking about this right now. And this is where the thinking and ideals came in. It's like the infinite card process. So you have a credit card, or I'll say debit card, that's better. So you have a debit card, it has infinite money, it's connected to all the central banks in the world, it'll last forever, all your family will have all the money they ever need in the history of the world. Like, what do you do with your time? Like, what do you do every day when you don't need to think about money? And this is something you want to think about a lot. And it's like, a lot of people, whenever they first make money, they kind of freak out. because most of life before has been a struggle trying to chase resources, and that keeps people busy. Like I think struggle is there designed to keep people busy, and it's to keep a certain type of person busy. The people who don't take the time to think and to know themselves need something to keep them occupied, otherwise they kind of go a bit crazy. And this is where the struggle sometimes keeps people out of trouble. It keeps them out of drugs, it keeps them out of alcohol, it keeps them out of watching shitty TV. Like a lot of people, if you took away the struggle of money from a lot of people, they would just like be a fat, addicted, crazy slob in no time that just sits on the couch, stuffs their face, feels depressed, doesn't know what life's about, doesn't know what to do. And the struggle is what keeps them focused. The fact that they have to get up on a Monday morning is the only reason they don't drink on a Sunday night. Andre's saying the sound is cutting out. Is the sound cutting out for anyone else? I'm hoping it's good quality. Yeah, so Razvan's saying there's a butterfly flick, very interesting. You beat a butterfly wing in the East Coast and it can start a tornado in the other. So, yeah, so everyone should know it's full moon energy tonight. So if there's weird shit going on, my internet before I joined, it went out. David's OBS went out. If anyone hasn't seen this, Laurentia said they also can't hear. Did you unmute? Some people are getting volume, I hope. Otherwise, I've been talking to myself for a lot. So, yeah, maybe if you can't hear anything, reconnect or something. Yeah, okay. So other people, I think it's a combination of everyone getting different settings. Yeah, so it's like it's really taking time, and I feel like the struggle in life is designed for people who are not willing to take time to know themselves. And it seems like that makes sense. Like I think a lot about if I was designing this world, and I think about this a lot now, like why things are set up in certain ways. And you see this more with children as well. Like the amount of things, like once you have children, the amount of things that you start to be aware of, like you want to give them difficult challenges, but challenges that are not beyond their capability. So like when my daughter, she's running around, I'll put my hands on her, like close to her, but not touch her. I want her to stand on her own 2 feet and really push herself. And you kind of think if you built this place, maybe you'd want that as well. You'd want people to build strength, but a lot of the time the struggle helps people build strength, and it's the only reason they would. And once you realize that, it's like, if you don't want the struggle, then it's like, maybe I should progress myself to be a person that doesn't need struggle. Because some of you might even remember the ice cream story. I know I've told this a lot. I got it from T. Harv Eker, who I think it was the Millionaire Mind Intensive seminar, and I think A Millionaire Mind was the name of his book. And the story that he said was, there's a dad and a son, and they're going to an ice cream store. So the dad and the son, they're going into the ice cream store, and they're looking at all the flavors, and the son, he's like so happy. He says, oh my God, I can't wait to get an ice cream. This is amazing. So he looks around at the ice cream flavors, and he's looking at it, and he's like, oh, give me a mint. I want a mint. And dad's like, cool. Yeah, no worries. Okay, well, give me a mint. So grabs the cone, gives it to the little kid's hand. And he's just a little kid. He's not very strong or anything. So he holds the ice cream, and he's holding it, and his hands are all frail, and they're kind of shaking a little bit, and he hasn't built the muscle strength to be able to hold it yet. And he licks it, and it's, when he puts his face against it, it knocks it out of his fingers because his fingers aren't strong enough to hold it. Splat. Hits the ground. Ice cream done. And the little kid starts, oh my God, no, I lost my ice cream. He's crying and bawling, and he's super sad. And obviously the dad feels bad about it, and he's like, oh, okay, don't worry about it, son. I'll get you another ice cream. It's fine. Okay, come back. Let's get another one. So he goes back up, and he looks in the ice cream, and he looks for another flavor, and he's like, oh, I still want the mint. Okay, take the mint. And as the store owner is about to take a cone and put the ice cream in it, the little kid looks over and he sees the double scooper. The one that has 2 scoops on it. And he looks over and he's like, oh, I want the double scooper. The double scooper. And he's looking at the double scooper, and then the dad at this point, if you're the dad at this point, and your kid super wants this double scooper, you know he wants it. He's got his vision board up in his house about a double scooper, wishing that he could have his double scooper and maybe 2 double scoopers and a double scooper in red and a double scooper in blue and all this stuff. Do you want to give him a double scooper? Now, he couldn't handle a single scooper. He didn't develop the strength in his fingers to be able to hold that. Would you give him a double scooper? And the answer is, if you're a good parent, you're not going to give him a double scooper, because if he couldn't handle a single scooper, the double scooper will definitely hit the ground. And now he's really going to cry and be really pissed off, and he's going to be really ashamed of himself, and he's going to think he's a failure and he's no good. So if you're a good parent, what do you actually do in that situation? The single scooper was too much for him. He couldn't even handle it. Being a good parent, what do? You obviously get an even tinier cone, like a baby cone. And being a good parent, to set your child up for success, you want to give them the thing that they're willing to handle first of all. And once they show that they can handle it and handle it easy, then they get the next one to handle. Then you say, okay, now you can work your way back up to a single scooper. And once you go for another one, then you go for the double scooper. And then you can have a tub, and then you can have whatever else. Anyway, I don't recommend ice cream unless it's homemade. We've been making homemade ice creams recently, which is wonderful. Brigitte's mother, David's mother as well, she's been making us, we call them freezies, because our daughter, we don't want her to eat ice cream, so we called a new name, freezies. So whenever she goes in town and she looks at ice cream, she'll know the difference between a freezie and an ice cream. Ice creams are poison. Freezies are homemade smoothies in the freezer, and we have little sticks, and it's just like, I might have raided the fridge the first time they were there and scoffed them all, but whatever, that's fine. They're just like a good smoothie, so I really enjoyed it. They're amazing, and I think these things are important to do that. But in terms of like making these, like, if you're thinking, I want more in life, I want more money, I want more responsibility, I want a bigger house, I would love 5 cars, I would love to have like staff and all these things, and then you start to look at your life and go, how are your finances right now? How are you handling what you have? You go, I only get like $2,000 a month. I got like, a little bit of debt. It doesn't, like, whenever I get money, I'm going to start organizing it better. Like for now, who cares? I just pay the bills, blah, 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 and I'm out of money. And it's like, so whenever I start getting like 10, 20,000 a month, I'm really going to care. I'm really going to focus, and I'm really going to start taking care of my finances. It's like, is that how it works? Or is that backwards? Like whenever you think about your house, okay, I want a 15-bedroom mansion in the south of Spain. I want palm trees. I want gardens. I want all fruit trees. I want to have all this sprawling land. It's like, how is your house right now if I came in and looked at it? Is there shit all over the place? When I say shit, just mean random stuff. Hopefully not shit, actually. But is there like broken stuff around? Is there like clothes all lying around the place? Is there garbage, dishes piled up? Is it all a mess? Is there lots of crap everywhere? If you have a garden outside or a terrace or whatever, how is that? Is it full of garbage and dirt? Is it like everything's all just dying and all that stuff? And it's whenever we look at, like, just look around right now. Same as well if you have a computer or a phone. How is it? Are you taking good care of it? Are you someone who can handle an office of 20 employees? Or are you going to struggle to take care of your own laptop? Is it full of files everywhere that you haven't looked at in years? Lots of crap. If I look at your email box, what is there, like 4,000 emails unread? You're like, well, everyone has thousands of emails unread. It's like, I don't have emails unread. I don't have a big stack of them. They don't bother me seeing the number every time I open my phone. 7,423 with a big red sign on it that just drains your energy. So I hope you see where I'm going with this. It's like a lot of these things is like, can we start putting things in order right now? And that gives us energy. Because if any of you watched the movie Limitless, there was a movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper. I'm not recommending movies, by the way. It's just I happened to watch it years ago, and it was kind of interesting. How he took this drug, the Limitless drug, and whenever you take it, it makes you like super high IQ, intelligent, focused, driven, other stuff. And you notice the very first thing in that movie, for anyone who's seen it, I posted a clip in the group before. Whenever he took this and it's just like his intelligence went off the chart, he went back into his apartment, and it's just like, before he was depressed and couldn't get himself to work or anything, there was like dishes everywhere, garbage all over the place was disgusting and dirty, and he's like, oh, who lives like this? He's like, my first thoughts, burn it. And he's like, now that I thought about it a bit longer, I'll just clean it. And then the first thing he did with his superpower brain was clean the apartment and put everything in order, so that it was harmonious and flowing. And once everything was in order, he was able to sit down and flow and write a book in one sitting. But it's so important to have this flow. And again, for anyone who has children, I'm aware. Don't think I'm not aware of how it is with children. Some days you come into our kitchen and you'd be like, holy shit. But that's like, there's 6 people in our kitchen and a baby. Or not a baby, she's not a baby anymore, more a toddler, running around, pulling everything out, throwing everything everywhere. But that's fine. If it stays like that for like a month, that's a big problem. Like by the end of the day, we do a cleanup, we put everything together, put everything in place, the dishes are all washed, everything's taken care of, and it's reset for the next day. And if it does happen to go another day or whatever, it's not the end of the world. But if it goes on months and years and other stuff, and it just becomes a way of life. The same as I talk about the car. If your car is always in the red of fuel, it's fine. Sometimes you go on a long journey, you come back at 2 a.m. home and you're tired and you're kind of got down to the end of the fuel. It's like it doesn't matter if it's down a little bit. You fill it up next time you're out. But if you live in the red, it shows a way of being, like who you are. And this is what I want to talk to you about committing to what you are, because this is one of the first stages in terms of designing our life. Is the first stage is finding out what we're about. But I find like once we put the basic things we have in order right now, it's easier to find out what we're actually all about. Like the flow of that, for any of you who've done the Creating a Vacuum Challenge, where you actually tidy up your emails, tidy up your computer, throw out all the junk, release all the things, give your old clothes to charity, do that stuff, you suddenly get a big rush of energy and you suddenly have clear thinking. So I recommend doing this before we're designing a life, is start to put things in order that you currently have, fix broken things, do these type of things. Then starting to do the process of the infinite card. If I had all the money in the world, what would I do every day? And really start to know. And again, you might not know the answer for this straight away. You might have to test many things. You might think you want to go traveling a lot. You might think you want to do, like there's so many different things you might want to do. But the more you think about it, the more a certain theme comes of things that you naturally like to do. Like again, for me, I love these conversations. Like if you meet me anytime, anywhere, for any years, like a lot of you have known me for a long time. If we ever met, this is how I talk. If we hang out in a restaurant, this is how I talk. If we go go-karting, if we're not on the track, this is how I talk. I just talk about these things. That's just what I like. This kind of like I have this on and off mode. Like it's kind of that. If I'm not doing activities, then I'm talking about these things. So for you as well, like what is that thing? Do you like gardens? Do you like children? Do you like animals? Do you like working on your own? Do you like equipment? Do you like engineering things with coding? Do you like really just thinking about all the different possibilities, and forget about the money in this stage. That's why it's so important where I gave you the Walt Disney process in the thinking and ideals, is because most people, when they think about their dreams, they first look at their bank account. And I'm saying most people, I did this for a long time. I'll be aware. We think about how much money do I have? I get 6,000. I probably can't start a company with that. Yeah, whatever. Maybe when I save up enough money, then I'll see if I can start a company. And it's very backwards thinking. Like Wallace Wattles always talks about in one book that I talk about all the time. I always talk about Wallace Wattles. Can you see truth regardless of circumstance? And whenever you get to that part in the Science of Getting Rich book, you might read it many times before you even realize the power of that. Like that, you could spend a life contemplating that one point. Can you see truth regardless of circumstance? So right now, if your bank account isn't much in it, the world is a certain way, all the food people eat is poison food, all the other things, and you have a different vision of life. Can you see the truth of your ideal life, even when the circumstances around you are telling you the opposite? And then can we hold that vision long enough and commit to it, to being that way, even if we don't know how to do it, but commit to moving the world and ourselves in that direction, regardless of what the circumstances tell us. I live in a shitty neighborhood. You don't understand. Oh, I'm in a poor side of town. My parents won't support me. I don't have any money. I don't have any government qualifications. I don't have blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, I get it. I get it. But can we, first of all, just commit to having fun with the process and trying to find the ideal of what it is we like and just go wild? Like, that's why the Walt Disney process as well is like, can you allow yourself to go wild? Because for any of you who know the story, like Alex Hudatan, he talked about, before he met me, he worked in a cubicle, lived in an apartment, had a reasonably okay car, and had 2 vacations a week. And he was saying, like, whenever I first asked him about these dreams, what did he say? He said, oh, I'd like the penthouse apartment, I'd like the upgraded model of this car, I'd like 6 weeks vacation, and I'd like the corner office of getting a promotion in the company. And you kind of stay within the frame because that's what we know. And then he started all the way through at the beginning, he was saying his vision boards when he was thinking about upgrading things, he kept thinking about driving to work in a nicer car, like in a Ferrari, in a Porsche, in a Bentley, or whatever. And he was thinking about it. And then he started to realize, it's like, why am I thinking about sitting in traffic? okay, it's in a nicer car, but why do I even want traffic? Like, why would I be in a place that has traffic? That makes no sense. And then you're like, okay, wait. What if we clean slate? And then he allowed himself to go a bit crazy. And he's like, oh, I'd like to live in a place where it's like beautiful beaches. I have these like giant home with a beautiful pool, the infinity pool, and someone brings me a breakfast in the pool in the morning, and there's staff around helping. And then he wrote the script out. And he still has the script today. And now the script that he wrote in the seminar that he was in with me, he said he still holds it, and it's still, that's the life he's been living now for like 10, 15 years since we met. And the reason I reference him, because we're in a mastermind group together every Monday. So I he's in my mind a lot. We talk about these stories a lot, and transformations and other things as well. So, so it's like, but whenever we allow ourselves to go beyond the things that we know, even if the thing you think about doesn't even seem to be real right now, because you might not know anyone who's living in a certain way. In a certain way that you feel inspired to live. Maybe you just don't even think it exists. And that's one of the things we'll come up to. Like, if we can get to the place where, first of all, where it feels like it just lights you up. Like, I always found whenever I did the perfect day process with people, and it's probably the same type of thing as the infinite card and all these things, you feel like your heart just opens up in a different way. It's almost like the Iron Man orb. If anyone knows the Iron Man movie, and there's like the orb in his heart, it's like whenever you tap into the thing, it just gives you like this joyous, radiant energy. And I've seen it with the people I've been mentoring as well. Like, they're talking about they're in a certain profession and they make good money and they have to do this work, but they just look depressed. And then we do the ideal process and they talk about, oh, I really love working with children. And it's like, the face just lights up, color comes in the face, and joy just resonates from them. And they can just smile, like a proper smile comes into their face for the first time in a while. And it's amazing just to see once someone taps into the thing they actually love and they give themselves permission to play with it, to play with the idea. And if you don't know how to do it, it's fine. That's the next stage. That's why we get to the design your ideal life and then monetize it. Because I feel like we can monetize any life we genuinely design or we genuinely want to live. And I say it that way because some crazy person might be, oh, so you say you can become an NBA basketball player? It's like, no, of course I can't, whatever. That's like, I think my camera froze. I should click back in soon, hopefully. Yeah, having a little full moon energy. Hopefully you can still hear me. If anyone in the comments can. There we go, I think. Yeah, okay. Yeah, things just glitching out a little bit. So, as long as you can hear me, that's the main thing. The recording hopefully pick up the better version. So, takes away my train of thought a little bit. But, so the monetizing everything. So, so in terms of like, could I be a basketball player and monetize that? I probably could monetize doing basketball in some way if that was what I was into. Like, I have no care for basketball, couldn't care less. Apart from we have a basketball hoop in the garden and I throw balls in there, but other than that, but if somebody loved basketball, even if you're over 40 and they're short, then there's ways to monetize doing basketball. And we probably could, if that was genuinely your heart's desire, I'm pretty sure we could monetize many ways to do it. So, like, I had a friend, some of you might know him, Kian. He's like, anyone in the Amazon world probably knows him now. He's become quite a sort of celebrity in there. His YouTube channel is 25,000 subscribers now. I think source him a Kian. And the thing is, like, he loves basketball. It's like, and again, he's short, whatever. He's not really, doesn't look like he played basketball, but he ended up being able to do deals and go and hang out with all the NBA stars and do merch for the basketball players. And the amount of times I've seen him when he's hanging out with the stars, he's sitting at the side of the court, he's training with, he actually partnered with an NBA basketball star as well in his company. And it's just like, before that just seemed like a weird fantasy that it's not possible. But then once you find out that you can do these things in a different way. So he might have thought he wanted to be in the NBA and score the point. I'm going to sound like an idiot now. I have no idea what they call it. Hit the baskets, score the points, whatever, get a hoop or whatever. So, so it's like, but being around all those people, like, now he just gets to actually live in the world of basketball many times of the year. So there are ways to connect to the ideal, but it might not be in exactly the way we want it, but there usually is a way to do it. And that's where it's, first of all, having the courage to do this and being willing to take a risk and play with this. And then we learn the monetization strategy, which I do want to, that'll be my next course on it. I really want to do the second part of thinking in ideals for you to be able to do that. So, Alex says there's a guy called The Professor on YouTube making videos playing better than everyone. 8 million subs. Yeah. I've seen that guy. That guy's like legit crazy skills. Yeah, but there's many other ways. Like, again, even working with, even basketball coaching, there's many, like, or doing merch for that, or there's so many different ways you could possibly do it. I don't really like basketball. I just use that as an example because I couldn't care less about basketball. So I was trying to think of the thing I would least care about. So, but yeah, almost anything you think about. If you want to be a writer, if you want to be around children, if you want to be around animals, if you love food, if you want to be into music, whatever, there's always a way to do it if we're willing to allow ourselves our energy to flow. So let me just check the comments, see where we are. So Paul, Art Bending, says, last evening I had a meeting with a large group of friends. I asked each of them, like a conversation game, what would you do on a daily basis if money would be non-existent? Personal and work. Most of them answered that they would do the same activity on a personal level and would travel more, discovered more. Nobody answered that would sit on the couch. Yeah, like, again, it depends where you are, but a lot, like the majority of population, if you don't have to work, they generally are not going to work for a while. So, but I think maybe in time, people get bored. And this is what happens for those of us who made a lot of money and didn't have to work for such a long time. You kind of like just do what you want and you entertain yourself and you go, like, a lot of us, we go and do the bucket list thing. So I went, okay, I'm going to go to Australia, New Zealand, and travel the world. I'm going to go and take off every single item. I'm going to bungee jump off everything. I'm going to fly planes. I'm going to do blackwater rafting, whitewater rafting. I'm going to be doing 4x4 rallies in the middle of the night. I'm going to be doing like just every type of crazy thing. And you go and do that and you travel everywhere and you take off all your items and you drive all the supercars and you buy all the shit you want. And then it's just like trying to find fun gets pretty boring after a while. And it's good sometimes. Like, I still enjoy going and doing those things sometimes, but just when every day you're like, what do we do today? What do we do today? And you kind of become an adrenaline junkie. It's like, after a while, you like to do stuff. Like, for me, I like this Peaceful Riches stuff. That's what I like. And that's what I want to do pretty much every day. And I really enjoy it. Like, these mastermind groups are incredible. The fun that gives me, the stories. Again, if you don't watch Netflix, you don't watch movies, you don't watch any of this shit, like, the stories that people have just gives me such entertainment. I just love it in such a way. And I love, it's like almost like I get to hear stories. So that's like the movie compensation. And then it's like a video game because now we get to see how we help people level up and overcome whatever issue it is and then monetize their dream and do that. And it's just like, it's such a fun thing. And I'm sure we all have that in some way. It's just taking time to think about these things. So, yeah. So anyone else? And I saw, Robert Francis, he posted the experiment. It's worth watching that after, where the guy does it. So yeah, it's a very nice experiment about resonance. Because once you realize resonance is not just a little, like just a stupid thing that self-development people talk about, it actually is a real thing. But you don't stop there. Yeah, so it's like, yeah. So Jay was saying my house is perfectly clean. Okay, I better not see a piece of dust in there, Jay. Even one sock out. I'm joking. Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure Jay's very organized. I saw you posted a video of your yoga stuff. It looked very in order and very nice, your place. So nice and prosperous. Yeah, so how are you all doing? Is this making sense so far? Hope you're still with me. Because I know we talk a lot of the same concepts over and over again, but I think like whenever I have been doing the masterminds, again, a lot of people will be kicking ass, doing amazing things, but I feel this basic of taking time to figure out what I'm all about is something that's missing. And a lot of people think, oh, I did that like 6 months ago. And it's like, yeah, but I do it every day. I'm constantly refining it every day. Like, that's pretty much my full-time profession, is refining my ideal. Constantly just thinking about it is like, okay, which part do I add? What course would be amazing? How would I feel doing it? How would I feel doing the next course? How would I improve my workflow? What new people would help me flow my energy better? What things don't I love about what I'm doing? And how can I get those off my plate onto someone else? And that's why it's important to let the mind be clear and not be on like screens all the time. Like, that's why I don't like the Facebook and Instagram and overwatching YouTube and other stuff, because it clogs our mind with other people's dreams and visions. And it takes us a while stepping out of that before we can start to have our own visions again. And that's what I find. It's like the longer you're away from that, the more you naturally start to have your own version of reality again. But it takes a little while. Even like you try not watching all these things for like a month, you'll be shocked at how many different thoughts you have. Like, these things wire the brain in a very strange way. It's kind of like messed up once you see it. And I know people say I'm yakking on about this a lot, but it's like controlling your mind. Our mind And our ability to create this tied with our heart is our power source. And once we design our life how we like it, we don't need these things to it. We're not trying to escape from our own life. We actually just like all the things in our life. And there's also a thing about like a dopamine overstimulation. Once you're overstimulated with things all the time, like games, VR, movies, other stuff, normal life feels a little bit boring. But once you don't do those things, all of life feels amazing. You just see a little flower and it's like, oh wow, that's incredible. And you just naturally feel like it just blows your mind. And you're just looking at it being like, what? This is incredible. I love this. And everything tastes better and just feels nicer. And it's just like, it's a funny thing. So the same as like, again, if you overstimulate your taste buds with like sugar, junk food, McDonald's, other things, whenever you have a salad after it tastes disgusting. You're like, oh, this salad's horrible. But once you don't have the junk food, you go back to a salad and it's like, wow, it's amazing. I feel the flavors and the tomato exploding in my mouth. And it's just like such a nice thing. So Daniel says, how did you upgrade your life after your daughter was born? I more upgraded my life before she was born. That's why she was born. It wasn't like an accidental thing as well, if anyone's wondering. Like, it was a very strong conscious effort about family. I changed all my values. I basically changed every single thing that mattered to me. And then once I did that, then I was like, I'm committed to family. And then I'm committed to having multi-generational living. I'm committed to building multiple family resorts. Again, we have the one in Spain, building the one in Ireland now. We have another one we'll be planning for probably Romania as well after. So, yeah, so it's like, it's more like I committed who I was going to become, first of all. And my commitment was to be the best parent I could possibly be. And that's so important for me. And I feel like, for any of you know, I did the perfect childhood process I put out for people, which I feel really heals traumas. And that was about how you design your perfect childhood to rewrite your traumas, and it kind of flushes them out. It's still I think it's in the group somewhere, whatever. So, but it's, yeah, the life that I designed, my perfect childhood, is basically the life my daughter lives. Whereas, like, I imagine just like how she wakes up in the morning, two parents just lovingly kiss her. She goes downstairs and she has her uncles and her grandma and other stuff, and everyone kisses her and plays games, and everything's just joyful. Like, every day of her life has been absolute joy. Nobody's ever been mean to her, ever. And it's just been such an amazing way that I just, like, once you craft what you're all about and commit to that. Andrew says, does anyone know where in the group the perfect childhood is? We'll try to find it. Tech support, if you can't find it, it might be in the 21-day challenge. I might have posted it there. I'm not sure, but if not, I'll post it somewhere else. So if somebody reminds me. But that one, see, that perfect childhood process, for me, my biggest trauma in life was not having a good childhood. Like, I felt like my dad wasn't around, and it kind of just, it's kind of like a wound. There was no men around that gave me strength, and I kind of felt neglected the whole time. And whenever I try to record the perfect childhood process, I couldn't finish it. For like 20 times, I just cried so much, I couldn't finish it. And I had to just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it because it was such a pain for me. Like, I remember whenever I first took retail stores, I had a retail store in Belfast in Ireland, a retail store in Dublin, and a wholesale company in Dublin. And I used to just drive up between Dublin and Belfast, and it was like 2 hours each way every day because I had to pick up money in all places. And I would just be driving down and I'd be listening to the Joe Vitale program, the Ho'oponopono. And I'd be doing the, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And you just say this over and over again while you're thinking about something that's difficult. So whenever I was driving down there, I was just thinking about what it'd be like having like an incredible dad who'd like come and pick me up and throw me in the air and take me to the beach. And I would just be doing, I'm sorry, thank you, please forgive me, I love you. And just saying this and feeling the energy of this. And I would just be crying like every day, just crying, just feeling what it felt like to actually have a loving childhood. And I feel like my mission was to rewrite that. Like, whenever I saw a picture of me as a child, I remember just thinking so many times, like, how could someone neglect a kid like that? I might say, apart from my daughter, when I look at my little picture, I was the cutest little kid that ever existed. And probably most of you think of that about your own pictures as well, which is awesome. I hope that's the case. I hope every one of you children think your children are the cutest things that ever existed. But whenever I see that, and like when I see my daughter now, and you're just like, how could you not just want to dedicate all of your life energy to making sure that they have a spectacular life? And that doesn't mean don't give them challenges. I want to push my daughter. Like, I want her to do gymnastics. I want her to, like, she's learning multiple languages now. She's like, every day we're pushing her to be able to develop and grow. And I want to give them like challenges, but I don't want struggle and I don't want trauma. That's so important. No poison food. no addiction stuff. She doesn't watch screens, all these things. She's filled with loving energy and lots of challenges to really push her. And it's like, and it's amazing whenever you don't give them junk food, other stuff like David will tell you, tech support, she's energetic, which is wonderful. You do want your child to be energetic, but she doesn't have trauma she doesn't have like these flip outs. Like if you take her away from something she loves, she'll cry for like 30 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever. It's not a big deal. But whenever like I see other children and they just like flip out and go crazy and scream and go mad and other stuff, and they're completely uncontrollable, and I'm pretty sure that that's to do with the food and the trauma and the screens and all that. It just they don't know how to handle that. So for me, where I was getting to this is like I committed to who I was going to become. And for all of us, it's like, can we commit to being the person in our vision, whatever that vision is for you? Because I'm just telling you my vision, but like for you, can you commit to being that person? Like let's say I was talking to someone recently and they have a child. The mother works, the father works, the child goes to daycare, other stuff, whatever. And it's like, I was saying, do you want that to be the case? It's like, no, well, of course it's better if they're with parents and other stuff, but we need the money, other stuff. And it's like, yeah, but are you willing to commit to having at least one parent at all times with your child and they not have to go to daycare? It's like, yeah, but I know it's difficult now. The rents are up, prices are up, we have to work, we got things. It's like, yeah, but can you commit to the thing that you know is better? You might fall short, that's fine. I get it, things are difficult. We don't always get everything we want exactly, but can you commit to being the person that is working to make that happen? So whenever you decide, do I upgrade the car or do I take my son or daughter out of daycare? You take your son or daughter out of daycare. And it's about little decisions we make all the time. And the same is like in terms of our life, like if you commit to being someone that has plenty of money in your life, if your friend says, hey, you want to go drinking Friday? It's like, no. Why would I do that? I'm going to blow my money that I need for investments. I'm going to be hungover and feeling like shit for 2 days. And it's like, why would I do that? That makes no sense to me. No, I'm not. No, that's not what I'm committing to be about. I'm committing to being healthy, energized, clear in my mind, know myself, have an abundance, have all the money I want. And there is a certain energy that, like, are we willing to commit to be that person? And again, we will fall short at many times, but over time, when we commit to it, it gets us infinitely closer than we ever would otherwise. So it's like, can you get the ideal from all the stuff we're talking about? Can you commit to what you want to become? And then once you've committed, I feel like that's when the resonance sets in. And then all the ideas to make it possible happen. So I want people to be clear, like, I'm not being judgmental about this. I know there's difficult situations. I get it. Like, I've been in shitty situations. I live in an abandoned building for 9 months. I get it. I understand that it's difficult. And I understand that things can happen. Like, all of us can be sitting pretty in a good situation. And then, like, say the monetary system collapses. Okay, shit. Money doesn't exist anymore. Okay, we got to rebuild. But it doesn't matter if I go to zero money, I'm going to commit to being that person again. That's what it's about. It's not about being perfect. It's about committing to that and going for it. And that's what I'm about. And I'm going to invest my energy in that direction. So don't think I'm ever being judgy about this. The whole thing I want to do with Peaceful Riches is to help you all do that. Like, I don't care where anyone is. Like, if you've got €5 in your pocket and that's all you have in the whole world, I'll treat you the same as anyone else, as long as you're willing to commit to living the way you want. I have no time for people who just don't give a shit. You're just like, I don't care. Life sucks anyway. It's like, well, you can get out of my circle then. But if you're like, I want to have a good family. I want to be healthy. I want to have research. I want to have prosperity. I'm willing to read. I'm listening to the books. Like, if you show me what to do, it's like, your net worth is €4. Cool. Awesome. Let's go. Let's fucking do this. As long as we're on the same path, as long as you're willing to go on the path, you're my people. And that's how I see it as well. Like, and I'm here. Like, that's why I want to put out these free courses, give you everything possible to help people level up in this way. Because once you tap into the thing you're actually in resonance with, and I think we actually have a natural ideal inside, if we're willing to start digging in to find it. Once we tap into it, it's like we just go, and then the monetizing part isn't that difficult. We start to attract the people we need. But saying that, we need basic skills. Like, this is important. We need basic skills. Like, if you've never even read a sales book or tried to sell, it's going to be harder to get money through life than it would be if you committed to reading at least 5 sales books. I think I posted in the group, I should probably have a clear section somewhere, book recommendations or audio recommendations. Like, my top 10 sales books If you read those, you'll already be ahead of like 95% of the people in the world, and you'll know how to get what you want, and you'll know how to inspire people and lead a team and have visions and all these things. It's such a valuable skill. It's not just for selling products. Then you know a bit of marketing, a bit of copywriting, how to put your ideas on paper, how to communicate, how to present on camera now is very important. I'll maybe do a course on that as well. I'm not the world's greatest person on camera. I'm not going to say I am at all, but I'm getting better. I'm much better than I was a few years ago, because a few years ago I couldn't do it. So it's like I'm infinitely better than I was, and I think I learned some things of how to make it better. And I think like we do a 10-part series, we train for a month. All of you could be like at least better than anyone would expect you to be, or anyone would need you to be. So there's basic skills like this. Also, can you manage your energy? Because it does take energy, and I talk about that in Get Money Now, which is another free course if you want it there. I think it's still incredible still. How do you plug the drains, all the things that drain your energy? How do you get rid of those so you have all day energy? So sales and marketing, that'll get you, like you can almost monetize anything if you just have sales and marketing. Doesn't hurt to have a bit of time management skills. Doesn't hurt to have like a few other, like there's other basic things that we can talk about at different times. But that's why in the mastermind, I love this process of people are showing me their business, and I can see the challenges of like the obvious things they don't see. Because the first question I ask everyone is like, okay, you want to make more money? And they're like, yes. Okay, it's like, what's your plan to do that? It's like, what do you mean? It's like, okay, what's your plan to get more money? It's like, well, I'm working, right? Yeah, but at what? What are you working at? Well, just doing the things that need to be done. That's what we do. And you realize that a lot of times people don't, it's like, can you see the journey you're going on? Do you know how to plan? Like, do you know, have you read widely enough so you know the steps of a company, of how to monetize things? Do you know the things you'll need, how to build a team, how to build a vision? Do you know basic design skills so that things don't look terrible? It's just a lot of these basic things, and I think we'll talk about them in different ways, like in terms of like the things to monetize. Like if you get the basics right, most people can live very well in the basics, the basic business skills. A couple of sales books, a couple of marketing books, a little bit of training, a little bit of presentation skills, knowing yourself so you don't go crazy. So if somebody offends you, you're not crying or screaming or going crazy. And then it's like you just apply it continually and with the idea in mind. And then you continue in mastermind groups, and you just keep helping each other over and over and over again. Because even if you don't join our mastermind groups, like join a mastermind group, like just make one yourself. Like that's why I realize a lot of people just don't do it. So I wanted to launch one so that like I can really like shake people and be like, I'm going to like push you hard every single day. Like people tell you in the groups, I'm already hitting them every day, calling people out individually. It's like, come on, let's take action. Let's do these things. And you want to have a group like that, because the group I have every Monday with a bunch of millionaires, like nobody wants to be the idiot at the end of the week who didn't do anything. And I see what they do, and it's like, oh, I should do that. That's a good idea. Oh, and we learn from each other, so you know what skill gaps you need. But if you just sit at home and try and struggle yourself, it's crazy. Like, don't struggle by yourself. It's so important, because skills, talking about skills to monetize, having a good network, that's one of the most powerful skills of all you could ever have. Because if you're around a good network, people have the answers for whatever you need. You just say, hey, here's where I'm stuck. And if you have a good network of intelligent people, someone can help you. Like, use this group, post in the group if you're stuck somewhere in your business. Hey, I have this business, I don't know what to do next. There's no shame in not knowing what to do next. There's only a shame in not doing something about it. So that's why I, like over the next couple of weeks and stuff as well, the people in the mastermind groups I'm gonna see their challenges, and I'll see probably a recurring theme of where people are stuck. I'm create a video for them to help them overcome it. I'll post it in the group so you'll all have it as well, because I think a lot of people are probably in the same place. Because if you now think about your current income right now, what's your actual plan for having a better quality income, a higher income? Unless your income's exactly where it is you want it to be right now, that's fine too. But do you know what your next step is? Can you even see the path? Do you know what skill gap you have? Some people think I need more sales, more customers, and it's like sometimes that's not the case. I remember watching some of these shows before, and like some of these business shows where they come in and analyze, and there's a company and they were doing like 100,000 a year in terms of like it was a process of, I think it was like a catering thing where they were doing like meals for £10 in UK. And they thought that like this is a big part of their business. That was what was keeping them alive. and I think it was Robert Irvine from Restaurant Possible, maybe it was Gordon Ramsay or something. They broke down the numbers. And so 100,000 they made that year in revenue, charging like 10 per meal. Whenever they dug into the numbers, the meal was costing them $11.50. So they were selling it at 10 and it was costing $11.50. So every meal they sold, they lost £1.50. And they thought they just needed more orders, and they were just pushing more orders. And they thought that's what keeping them afloat. All they had to do was just not do that. And that was like half of all their energy the whole year. If they had just not done that thing, they just cut that part of the business out, gone, forget about it, they'd already be in profit. And they wouldn't have all the energy drain. But do you have the knowledge of business to be aware of these things? To see just basic numbers. And you don't have to, like, again, if you give me like a really complex company, I don't know how to analyze it properly. I have a very intuitive way of doing it by looking at sort of the revenue, and I kind of get a feel for it quickly. Without even running the numbers, like, I can pretty much determine if I can make it profitable or not. Like, I don't really care what anyone else tells me. I look at customers, look at sales, look at how much they do, how much I can increase I don't care about other people's story. I care about what I can do with it. And it's always worked so far. So it's like I have my own way of doing it. I'm not like Harvard Business School type of analyzing numbers. That's just not what I do. I never did it that way. I'm more like in the energy I get. Like, it's almost like it was funny in school. A little side note on this. Like, I loved math in school, but I never knew how to show my working out. So like, we had everyone was in the same class for the first 3 years of high school in math class, and we were all doing that. And then at the end of 3 years, they gave you one exam, and that determined which class you'd be in. If you'd be in the smart kids class, the middle class, or the dumb kids class. And we all did that exam. I did the exam, and I got 100% of the questions right. And I was like, boom, genius. And then I looked at my score, and they scored my exam at 45%. And I'm like, what the fuck? I got 100% right. Like, I answered every single thing right. I was like, yeah, but you didn't show you're working out. It's like, so? And they go, well, that means you probably didn't know how you did it. I was like, so what? I got the right answer. Who gives a shit? And it's like, no, you're in the dumb class. And they put me in the dumb kids class. Because intuitively I could see the numbers and I could analyze them, and I could figure it out. But I didn't know how I did it. I couldn't explain it properly. I just had a feeling of what the answer was. It was very weird. And then they were just like, no, that means you're stupid. You go to dumb class. And it was just like, it's amazing how these institutions and the way of doing it, like, it just doesn't resonate with me. I do things in a very interesting way. Like, I tap into intuition a lot and feel certain things, and I know if I can work with a team, if a business is good, if I can sell the mission and the story. Like, is your business, if you went to maximum capacity, could you even handle more business? Like, say you're a hairdresser and you're making $15 an hour. Again, how many hours can you do before you just can't do anymore? Like, if your maximum you can make is $2,000 a month. You think, well, if I just get more clients, that'd be awesome. It's like, yeah, it might be okay for a little while, but it's not taking you anywhere. Do you have the wisdom to know, like, what's your maximum capacity? Can you handle the extra business? And it takes a while to know these things, but if you stick around with us in Peaceful Riches enough, we'll hopefully do this. And I would love some of the people in the mastermind, or even some people not in the mastermind, if you want to come on the live call sometimes, and we'll do it live, analyze your business. The more we do these things, the more you get to see it. The more then you start to pick up what skills you need. I'll recommend some books. You read those books, listen to audios. We'll do some more courses. And over time, you start to find out this process of like, okay, I get my ideal. What do I like to do? Build that. Commit to being that person. Do sales, do marketing, learn how to do the perfect employee process so I get a team to help me with the bits I don't like. Then I know enough about all the bits of business so at least I can analyze if they're doing it right or not. Then I just keep doing it. Then then every time I find something I don't like to do, I replace myself and keep leveling up my business until I automate the system. And it's a repeatable process over and over again. It's not that complicated. I'm not a business genius by any means. I just do the same type of thing over and over and over again. It's why I also like I like taking over small businesses. Like, I don't know how to run a business that does 100 million a year. I don't really have any desire to do that either. I don't care. But to go from a business take a business that's doing 100,000 a year and bring it to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, that's fine. I can do that over and over and over. It's like, it's not a big deal. Because it's the same system over and over again. Once you get to that other level, 100 million a year, it's a different game. I don't know yet. So I just found if you just keep doing the smaller ones, it's a repeatable process. If you want to go from like 200,000 to 1 million, not a big deal. Like, it's It takes work. It takes energy. It doesn't have to be my work either, but it takes some work for me, visionary process, leading the team, putting things in place. But it's repeatable and straightforward. Whereas a lot of people just get stuck at the base level. They make $3,000 a month or whatever, and they kind of get stuck there. Whereas, like, do you know how to just get past that? But it takes putting a lot of pieces together. So, is this making sense so far? Hopefully, it is making sense. Robert says this episode is perfect for me because Saturday was a party and my people invited me and I decided to not go and staying and working with myself, meditating, reading, exercise. Thank you. I resonate strongly with your ideas. Yeah. See, that's why your peer group matters so much, because if all your friends love going partying in the club on a Friday night and Saturday night, and then they watch the football game on Sunday, and then on Tuesday night they have the late dinner, and then it's like, and then you have to catch up all the shows. Do you know the new season of Game of Thrones? It's like your peer group just shapes that completely. Whereas, like, if you have other people who actually be like, hey, what book do you read this week? I was like, oh, that's a cool question. Like, tech support and I, David, we have the most random debates in the house. Almost every night. Brigitte's like, here we go. I was like, oh yeah. Somebody mentions Russian tanks. There we go. David's off in military history, and we're going for like 3 hours about the Communist Party of China and all that, and just like the amount of random shit. Now we bought a Bible for the kitchen, and now it's Bible debates every day. Not that we're crazy Bible people, but we just like, we like to just like, we love debates. It's super fun, like, because like the thing I really like about talking with David as well is like he's not a little bitch. And I find that most people these days, if you disagree with them on one thing, that's it. They blacklist you from their circle for life. They go, that's it. You didn't agree with me on everything, so I hate you now. And it's like David and I, we give each other shit for hours almost every day. And then after we're like, good, nice. Okay, next. What are you doing? And then tomorrow we're back at it again, but it's out of a friendly spirit. And it's like, we love that energy because our intelligence is increasing significantly every time we're doing it. Your mind gets sharp. You start to know yourself. You know why you think what you're thinking. And it's like we'd rather do that than just watching some movies, sitting like stuff in our face with popcorn. So it's like it is important. And you have other friends, like if all your other friends are doing businesses, like again, the mastermind I have with Alex and the other guys every Monday. For a little while I drift. If you're drifting, you're not really doing something, and you see them posting all their numbers. Hey, I launched this product, I made 35,000 doing this. No, and they break down all the numbers, and you're like, oh yeah, I should probably launch a product. Yeah, why am I not doing that? Okay, let's go. Let's get going with something. Or they're re-engineering something, or if they're bringing on new employees, you're thinking, oh, that I should get new employees. That would help me. So the peer group and the people around matter so much. And for some of you might remember, I think it was the 21-day challenge as well. The people upgrade, I think it's called. If anyone hasn't done that and you need to upgrade your people, that exercise is incredible if you take it seriously. The amount of people that I've seen have huge upgrades in their network very quickly because of that exercise is incredible. I need to start bringing a lot of people on for testimonials to explain their stories. Because I know it's different when you hear it from them and not just me saying it over and over again, but the people who just like we did that exercise. I think some of you might have been in the 5-week prosperity challenge. Ciprian, were you in that group maybe? Gavrilo. But there was like, we do this meet a celebrity challenge, and there's a lot of people that just had never met a celebrity before. And then we do the people upgrade process first. Okay, how do you meet those people? How do you resonate with it? How do you get in touch with that energetically? And then you go out, and for the next week, everyone's trying to meet as many celebrities as they can. And like a lot of time when we do that, you're kind of thinking, okay, where are these people gonna find these celebrities? Even I'm thinking sometimes, like, where the heck are you gonna find a celebrity in the next week when you've never met one in your life? And Alex and I, we were sitting there and we got the message on the phone from the group, and it's like this woman, like 12 hours later, she sent a picture, or she thinks she did a video or something. She's like, oh, look where I am. And she got a picture of, like, she's in one of the biggest TV stars in Romania that she's been watching her whole life, and she's sitting in his living room. Never met a celebrity in her life. 12 hours later, some guy she's always watched almost every day, she's sitting in his living room. And the amount of people is just like that met celebrities, it was crazy in such a short period of time. Like we have, again, all the videos. Maybe I'll get people's permission to put the videos in this group as well and whatever. And you see the amount of people, like one woman thinks she met like 18 celebrities in like a week. It was crazy. She was just like, I was like, where the heck are you finding these people? Whenever I first did this process, I remember my friend Stefan Arimia, he was Laurent Suarez's business partner. He flew me over to Cluj, and I went and watched like Manchester United game. It was Manchester United versus Cluj, and then so it was like, but in that period, I was really getting used to meeting celebrities everywhere. And then I came back to Spain, And the Cluj football team that I just watched there, they were playing in the pitch right next to my house. And then I went down, hanging out with them, and I was just talking to them about the Man United game, and because they beat Manchester United as well. So it was like, and it was just like, we were sitting out hanging out. It was just like, that was crazy. I just saw the bus like almost outside my house. And then every flight I took for the next while, I was like on the plane with the Ajax people. Then the next flight I took, I was on the team with Borussia Dortmund. And then I was just like meeting celebrity after celebrity. Like I was getting my hair cut, and it was like wasn't Frodo, it was like Pippin, I think, from Lord of the Rings, sat down next to me, and he was waiting. He had the same hairdresser as me, and it was just like everywhere I went, it just kept tapping into these higher level people because that's what I put in my intention, and it was crazy. And a lot of you will see this stuff. It's crazy these things happen. But you have to. The resonance comes first, and I know it sounds hokey. I get it. But there is something to it. Like, you're not telling me otherwise. There's something to this. And then we take the external steps. We get our butt out and we go and contact people. We meet up. So we do the other part as well. So I hope tonight it kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about, like why you want to design your life first. Because this is a challenge I've had with mine. Because, again, one of the guys in our mastermind group, he posted the update. He was like, oh yeah, I put like, I think it was like $1,500 into meme coins and then made 30,000 in a week. So you make 30,000 profit buying a dumbass meme coin, whatever the frick that is. Probably something stupid, I don't care. It takes quite a bit of emotional strength to not be like, that seems like easy. Maybe I put 1,500 in and I also get 30,000. And then I have my emotional strength. Like, that's not part of my ideal. Like, researching meme coins is like, no. I don't care about NFTs. I don't care about pixelated monkeys. Because like this guy as well, like he just said as well, last year I think he turned 5,000 into 450,000 on NFTs. So somebody puts 5,000 in, makes 450,000 in like such a short period of time. Even in our group that time, like Cosmin, I think he went in. These guys were talking about how they're putting like 500 euro in and making like 30,000 in a day. Other people, and it's just like, and it's like, it's hard not to get pulled by that. You're like, oh, maybe I should research these meme coins. And it's like, how does that fit into my life? How does that fit into what I'm about? Like, what part of my vision had me researching meme coins or NFTs or pixelated monkeys or any of this stuff? And it's like, it doesn't. I don't care. I'm not interested. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you make 12 trillion and you put in €1 and there's no risk. I'm not interested. It's not my game. I like building companies. I like self-development. I like launching products. I like launching services. That's what I like. And I have the money, I like all the money I need from that. So it's like, that's it. I don't care about the others. I don't care about the other opportunities. I'm not interested. It's not interesting for me. I don't want to be sidetracked from who I committed to becoming. And sure, I missed some opportunities. Like, I had a friend who was sitting in my house and he was like, I think he put like a small amount in crypto. I think it was like 2 years ago. And then he just like showed me the account and he made 300,000 from his like few thousand. I was like, cool, awesome, amazing. I love it. I love it. You're doing well. I love that's your thing. For me, don't give a shit. Not interested. I had another friend, I think he put like 20 million into Bitcoin and he's just like hassling me. Whenever we met up, he hassled me for like 3 hours about Bitcoin. I'm like, I don't care. Leave me alone about fucking Bitcoin. I don't give a shit. Not interested. Not my thing. He's like, bro, you don't get it. He's like, I get it. Not my thing. If you're having fun, you're making lots of money, God bless you. Enjoy it. But that's not who I am. So I don't care about those things. I like investing in companies. Like, that's what I want to launch the Invest With You program. And that's my main thing. I want to do bigger groups where if you have companies, smaller startup companies, I can invest in it with you, take 10, 20%, help you grow it, mentor you, and build real things. Might not be as easy as putting a couple of thousand in a meme coin and making $1 million from it, but I don't care. It's just like, it excites me. It gives me all the money I need. I have plenty, whatever. So it's like, who are you? And if you felt you were born for meme coins or NFTs, then go for that. Like, I see my other friend, he loves it. Can't get enough of it. He just thinks it's great, brilliant. I don't get it, but that's his game. His game is that, my game is this. So I'm not saying if you're doing that, God bless you, go for it. If you're like, no, but you don't understand, you're stupid, you don't know what NFTs, how good they are. It's like, I'm not saying any of these things are right or wrong. It's just not my game. Same as cutting people's hair, not my game. I'm delighted people do it. I don't give a shit if you can make $1 million a year doing cutting hair. I'm not cutting hair. I don't care. It's not my thing. So, but someone else, you go, but how could you not want to cut hair? It's the greatest thing in the world. Daniel saying in January, him and his wife, they started to create photos with AI. We grew from $752. I don't know what this is in January to 20. You made like $20, and then maybe minus 30 in March. Our strategy is double the income monthly. The numbers look promising. We just need patience and keep it working, but it feels like we're stuck and growing slow. Feels like we were lacking marketing or something. Wait, is that actually? Did you actually mean to write $7? So you went from $7 to $20? Yeah, I don't know about that. So yeah. And what do you mean you're creating like how are you monetizing creating like that's gonna go quickly because everyone in the world can create photos with AI for like zero. David, tech support can tell you how to download Midjourney alternative for your computer for free. Romanians have skills at this apparently. If you want to do that. Oh, you made $7 in January. Oh my goodness. Daniel, you should go on Shark Tank. I'm just joking. I'm having a bit of fun. But it's like, again, if you like that, if you really like the creative part of it, there's ways you can do that. Like, now, if anyone's good at generating pictures, like for people like me who need to give you my videos and I need pictures for my videos, whenever I edit them, it takes me hours and it's like a bitch to do it. Like you can generate that. You'd end up paying more for someone to do that than just, because again, everyone knows now with AI, there's just so many things. I think you've got to be a bit more creative with it or something. So, yeah. Like Daniel, I say again, like, what are you about? Find out your thing first. Forget the opportunity. Forget what you think's hot. Forget what's going on right now. Like, what do you like to do if money doesn't exist? If you have an infinite amount of it, I feel that like, designing AI pictures probably isn't the thing that you're really resonant with. I'm not sure. Maybe it is. But when you get that, I think, like, I find it so hard to help people when they're in the wrong direction. When I feel like somebody's going against their better nature, and I know it's not the thing that they should be doing for them, I struggle to help people with that. But as soon as I see that glint in their eyes and the smile comes up, and they know what their thing is, boom! Like a million things we can do straight away, and they just do it. Because if you push them against their will, they don't do it. Which is what I found. But whenever they tap into the thing they actually do the work that you give them, and then shocker, they get lots of money. So, yeah, I said you should see the photos. Yeah, I get that photos are nice. Like I use AI generate photos all the time. Great, and there is a place for that for sure. Like people need it. People need to generate that stuff. So, but yeah, it depends. There's for sure you can make money doing that. You just got to. I don't think you just put it on like Etsy or something. I think that's going to dry up quickly. But there's different ways to do it. So. But yeah, anyone have any thoughts on this? Anything they're saying? Hopefully that this made sense. Because I think it's just a nice Sunday night reminder to kind of help set for the week. And I know a lot of things I say are kind of recurring, but it's so important. Like this is the critical thing. Like I do, like half of my day today was doing this stuff. I'm just constantly, what's the ideal? What's my ideal employees? Who else do I need to help me? What new programs could I bring in? How do I streamline the mastermind process? How do I do? And I just like constantly just refining everything. And then I'm obviously messaging people in the mastermind, helping them out with that stuff as well. And it's just like, it's such a nice way to live when you're just like your own thoughts are your friend. But if you're watching murder at night on Netflix, people getting their head chopped off, it's hard to have your own clear, prosperous thoughts. If you're fighting your drug addiction, it's also hard to have clear thoughts. If you're fighting your cigarette addiction, hard to have your own clear thoughts. If you're stuffing your energy down with sugar at night because you're overwhelmed, it's also hard to have a clear flowing thoughts. All these things matter as well. So, and although I can sound like I'm a bit purist on things, but I feel like once, like in time, you let go of things. Like I didn't let go of all these things all at once. It took me years of letting go. Watch a bit less movies. Don't watch the toxic movies. No, don't eat as much junk food. Don't eat out as often. And then you kind of like work your way through it. So don't think I'm expecting anyone to just let it go immediately. It's a process. I think as you heal your traumas, you don't want the junk food and you don't want to watch murder and other stuff. So Aline says, how do you start this process of figuring that one thing? I know you have many exercises regarding design your life, and there are different questions out there regarding personal mission, but I feel things are really abstract. Yeah, I just keep things like, what do you naturally do? Like, what do you talk about whenever you don't have to do something? But that's why I do it like the abandoned city. What would you do all day if like you only had 30 days left in the world? And I think that's a big thing if anyone did the exercise. Like, if, let's say I found out, for any of you know who that exercise was in, it was in Thinking in Ideals. If I knew that the world was going to end in 30 days, but nobody else would know, what would I do? And there's not really much I would change. I would still do this call. If I knew the world was ending tomorrow, I would still do this call because I like it. I just enjoy doing it. It's like that type of thing. Can you get to the place where you would do it for free, but then you don't have to do it for free? And yeah, it takes a while thinking about it. Like, it's what do you naturally enjoy doing? Some people, they just like messing around with AI, like David or tech support. He just does programming. He just David, you can tell him what they like to do, but it's something with computers. I don't know what happens in there, but he just like can't get enough of it. He loves it and just always digging into everything. Me, self-development, I just couldn't read enough. Like, every book I can possibly find in the world, I want to consume it, on self-development, on the human experience, on business and all the things. So it's just like a natural thing for me. I love to see things grow. I love to see things develop. Somebody else might love being around family and children. Somebody else might love animals or cars or whatever. Somebody else might love music. But those exercises, the perfect day exercise is one of the best ones. It's in the 21-day challenge, I think. Then the thinking and ideals. But it's just over and over and over again thinking, what do I want to do if money wasn't an issue right now? And you kind of just keep doing it and keep doing it. Yeah, so Victor says, I'm a big fan of Alan Watts and share the same birthday, strangely. The short video from him is exactly in the same zip code as to this discussion. Yeah, so it is important, like, because I was going to create a program as well called Beyond Money, where it's like, it's not about not having money, but it's just you think beyond it. Like, it's not the constraint in life. And then when you know how to monetize everything, because you put me in any business, I pretty much could monetize it. And can monetize it pretty well. I've done it just so many times, over and over and over and over again, that I know it works everywhere. I'm sure you can find some business I couldn't do, of course, but whatever. But pretty much all that I'm interested in, because I think it's the things I'm interested in, then I can do it very easy. So, but yeah, it's just asking it over and over again. What do I like? And that's kind of it. So I know it maybe wasn't the most exciting answer for that, but the courses are there, just playing through these thought experiments. That's just how I see to do it. Write out a list of 100 things you want to do if you had all the money in the world. The bucket list, just come at it from every angle. So yeah, so that's kind of going to be it for tonight. I'll post the recording up soon, probably tomorrow actually. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of interesting exercises coming up now, because again, as I say, everyone in the mastermind group who has a situation that they're stuck on, I want to create content, create a video on it, and then I'll post it in the group. So keep an eye out. And if these are going to be absolute golden, so if you see a nice exercise, it's going to take 5-10 minutes, just do it. You might be shocked how it unlocks something in your life. So that's the main thing. So I appreciate you all coming here. I love to see that you're here and you're enjoying this, and we have many things. Also, if there's anything you want to talk about on any of these calls, if there's something you want me to address, we have a channel on the side of Discord called Ask Your Questions, and I will address it in the next call, or you can ask it in the call. I'm very happy to discuss whatever. If anyone ever wants to talk about their business specifically or anything, that can be possible too. So, but otherwise, I usually have a lot of these things to talk about, and I enjoy it. So yeah, thanks everyone. Great to see you all. Have an awesome day, and until the next time, we shall see you soon.